Let's turn our attention in Canberra now back to the budget. Less than 2 weeks now to Jim Chalmers' third budget. Joining me is the lead partner at Deloitte Access Economics, Pradeep Phillip. And Pradeep, you've got your budget monitor out there and your numbers suggesting there will be another surplus on a week from Tuesday.
Look, it's not a fait accompli, but it looks like the government will deliver its second surplus in a row. And that's coming from the fact that corporate tax collections are up because of commodity prices. So the rest of the world is giving us a nice paycheck. And the second is that income taxes are up because unemployment has been lower than expected. But what this means, though, for framing the budget, Kieran, is that the government's had a policy of banking the upside of revenue, but there are challenges on the spending side. And you can see the government has been spending more money in recent months. And so these challenges of spending growing faster than revenue means that we're going to see deficits over the next few years.
Spending's also an issue in the short term when it comes to inflation. I want to ask you about that in a moment. But the other thing that I picked up in your monitor was a concern around the Made in Australia policy, that there needs to be more clarity and that it needs to be very targeted. Can you explain that?
Absolutely, because there are risks in it just being a protectionist kind of stance. But at the same time, Kieran, the world around us is changing. The world today and tomorrow is not the world of the last 60 years. Geoeconomics, geopolitics, indeed structural changes from technology and climate change are changing the way we kind of operate in this world. And as a result, if we don't act in certain ways, if we're not strategic about Australia's economic supply chains, then there is a cost to that too.
Is this also complex? Is that shift that you're talking about internationally, is that also relevant to what Jim Chalmers is discussing today in his speech when it comes to changes to the way foreign investment is done so that government has the appropriate security framework in place? Absolutely.
In fact, Kieran, there's a new triangulation at play of economics, technology and security. And you're seeing this play out with our foreign investment changes that are coming through. Now, there is a maintenance of the security elements that have been in place for the last couple of decades, enhancing them in some way. But there is also this emphasis now to make sure we de-risk investment in Australia so that we can attract foreign capital. Australia is a small open economy. We rely on foreign capital for the rest of the world. And if we can attract that, this is how we boost economic growth.
Finally, on the interest rate question, there is that inflation environment that the Treasurer has said will be part of his thinking. You saw the retail number yesterday, though, and it was very weak for the month of March. What's your read on where the RBA goes next?
Look, this is a conundrum, because you've got lower economic growth and you've got stickier inflation. Inflation's heading in the right direction, but it's a bit of a bumpy ride down. Now, the Reserve Bank will be looking at the budget very carefully. It'll want to see inflation well into its target band before it does anything. And so we think there's a rate cut likely later this year, but there is a growing view that maybe it might shift to next year.
Pradeep Phillip from Access Economics, great to see you. We'll talk to you in Budget Week.
Good to be with you.